Hello everyone and welcome to the very first of our brand new series of worship videos, Worship Together across the Diocese. And I'm really excited about this new venture. I really enjoyed doing all the off-the-shelf videos and sharing those with you last term, and now we have a new beginning, a new term and a new series of worship and lots of new people who are going to help me, and every week there'll be a film where we do exactly what it says. We worship together across the diocese. So we are one big family of church schools, and whichever day that you choose, you can tune in to feel part of that big family by knowing that we are all worshipping and praying together wherever we are. Lots of new beginnings, lots of excitement. And I'm going to begin first of all by explaining to you and showing you a map of exactly what the diocese is, because it's a bit of a strange word really that only ever gets used in the church, and I thought you might wonder about it. So here's a map. The diocese is really just an area of the country. The church divides the whole country into dioceses. And our diocese is called Blackburn Diocese. And that's because our cathedral is in Blackburn. And if you look carefully at the map, you will hopefully be able to work out where you are in the diocese. So, are you in Burnley? Are you in Lancaster? Are you in Blackpool? Are you in Standish? Are you in Preston? Are you in Darwin? Are you in the Ribble Valley? Are you in Garstang? Wherever you are, if you are on this map, you are in our diocese and part of the Blackburn Diocese family of church schools and churches. So pause the film for a moment so that you can work out where you are on the map. So there was a map of the diocese, and I hope that you were able to work out exactly where you are on that map. And I'm sure that you noticed that the map was divided into smaller areas that were all different colours. I wonder what colour you were in which area that you're in. Now those smaller areas are called deaneries, and the church divides the big area of the diocese into smaller chunks called deaneries, so that those churches can all work together in their little areas. And each week we're going to pray for a different area, a different deanery, and all the churches and the schools in that area. And by the time we get to Christmas, we'll have prayed for everyone. And I think that's a really exciting part of being family, that we all pray for each other. So lots of new beginnings, new term, new start, new films. So what Bible story could I share with you this morning? So I thought very carefully and I decided, and I'm going to use my new Lion Storyteller Family Bible, the story of Ruth. Now Ruth was a very special lady, and actually if you look carefully at Jesus's family tree, Ruth is mentioned. So this is a key part of God's big story, and that's a little challenge for you later on to work out just why? Why is Ruth a key part of God's big story? So what did she do? Well, Ruth has the courage to step out in faith and go to a new country and find a new home. And she does that with her mother-in-law, Naomi. And what's happened is that Naomi moved with her husband and her sons to a different country, a country called Moab. And sadly, Naomi's husband and sons all died. And that left Naomi with Ruth and Orpah, her daughters-in-law. And Naomi decided that she didn't want to stay in this country. She wanted to go home. She wanted to go back to her hometown, to her home country. And so she said to Orpah and Ruth, look, you don't have to come with me. You stay here with your family and your friends in your country, and I'm going to go back home to mine. And Orpah agreed, and she went back to her own family. But Ruth says, I am coming with you. Your people will be my people, and your home will be my home, and from now on your God will be my God. And Ruth made the courageous decision of going with Naomi to a completely new place for a new start, because she loved Naomi and she knew in her heart that that was the right thing to do. She wanted to make sure that Naomi got home safe and sound and was happy. And so Naomi and Ruth went to Bethlehem. Now I think you've probably heard of that place, and that gives you a little bit of a clue as to how this all fits into God's big story. So they went there, and Naomi was reunited with her family, and they found Naomi and Ruth a new home, a new place to live. And Ruth then had to make another brave step and go and find a job. She needed to find some work. And here's a little picture at the top of the book that gives you a clue. There she is in the fields picking wheat. But she didn't pick wheat from the main crop. She went round the edges of the field picking up what was left over, picking up what the main workers had left behind, and that's called gleaning. So there's a new word for you this morning perhaps. And the man who owned the field noticed Ruth, and he was called Boaz. And he noticed Ruth and he thought, oh, she works really hard. And he found more information about her, and he found out about the story of how she had travelled with Naomi and supported her and had stayed loyal. And he thought, oh, I really like this lady. And then he worked out that actually Boaz and Ruth came from the same family. Sorry, Boaz and Naomi came from the same family. And Naomi said to Ruth, oh, put your best dress on and go and speak to Boaz because he likes you. And yes, you've guessed it, in the end, Ruth and Boaz got married. And it said here, and so Ruth and Boaz got married immediately. And Ruth was delighted, and Naomi was delighted, for God had rewarded Ruth's loyalty and had given her both a husband and a home. And what's more, Ruth later gave birth to a son whose name was Obed. and Obed's son was Jesse. And one day Jesse's sons was a shepherd boy named David who ran into a giant one day. But that's another story. So, a story with lots of courage, a story with lots of new beginnings, just like we are experiencing now at the beginning of term. And because of all the things that we've been through this year, and it's still not resolved and we're still unsure how things are going to move forward, we need lots of courage too, just like Ruth, to face those new beginnings. And we can do that all together as a family. So we're going to pray, and I thought I would challenge you to make one of these strings of people. And I was quite pleased with myself because I managed to make it without cutting the wrong place and making them fall apart. So you fold up the piece of paper in that zigzag and draw a picture of a person, cut it out, but don't cut where the folds are on the hands, and you get that string of people. And we can write on here all the prayers that we want to say today for our families, for our friends, and for our big church school family, that we will all work together, love each other just as Jesus showed us how to love, just like Ruth loved Naomi and worked hard and was courageous and loyal. And that we can write on here, so we can say, the names of wherever you are. So you might be in Burnley, you might be in Lancaster, you might be in Broughton, you might be in Blackpool, you might be in Darwin, lots of places. You might be in Rufford. Wherever it is that you are, you can write that on your pieces of family people, pieces of paper, and then you can write year 1 and year 2, whoever else in your school that you're particularly friends with, year 6. There might be a school that's down the road that you want to pray for, and then you can write on family, mums and dads and aunties and uncles, friends, so that your people are all covered with places, people's names, and then put them perhaps on your worship table in your classroom and make a big display of all these people that you are praying for, and shout a big Amen. So I'll see you again next week, and I hope that you've really enjoyed worshipping together across the diocese. Bye for now.